Welcome back, everyone, and I'm here again with SBR contributor Dave Golokhov. And today we're talking some NBA, and the game that we're looking at is between the Spurs and the Grizzlies. How you doing today, Dave?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Alrighty, man. So after a shaky start to the season, the Spurs are starting to pick up their game, as their 9-1 record over their last 10 games indicates. What's actually changed in that lapse of time for this team to improve that way, Dave?
Well, I think it's really just turnovers, just sort of getting into the swing of things in the season. I mean, look, this team won the championship last year. It's easy for them to kind of take their foot off the gas, especially in the early goings of the season, be a little sloppy and, just not play with that same kind of hunger and crispness that they had at the end of last year. So I think it's natural, but Greg Popovich essentially broke his foot off in their ass, and he's really inspired them, quote unquote, to play like they normally play, and that's what we've seen from them over this last little stretch.
All right, Dave, man, but it does look like it's not going to be a walk in the park for San Antonio. I mean, considering that Memphis does have the best defense in the league right now, and they're also 9-1 in their last 10 games. So in your opinion, man, I mean, what do the Grizzlies have to do to contain the Spurs and actually get the win in this spot?
Well, I like the fact that Memphis's defense is so good, and I actually think they match up pretty well against San Antonio. This is a team that, although they swept them in the conference finals a couple of years ago, I think Memphis is it's a challenge for any team really in the Western Conference, but I think Spurs especially. They've got a lot of bulk inside with Gasol, with Randolph on the offensive end, and then at the defensive end, I mean, those guys can just protect the rim and allow those perimeter guys like Conley, like Tony Allen to play really aggressive defense on the perimeter, chase the Spurs around those screens and the pick and pops that they like to do. So I think Memphis matches up well. I think they match up even better than in previous years because they got more depth now. Ben Udrih off the bench, Vince Carter to provide some offense, Tayshaun Prince to mash up defensively with some guys. So I think that this team is a little bit deeper than in recent years, and I think they match up well. Lastly, I think there's motivation here. I mean, Memphis started the year great, and they have been great up until this point, but they're slipping a little bit coming off a loss. And, you take a look at the Western Conference standings. Yeah, they're at the top, but one or two losses drops them down to like 5th or 5th or 6th, and San Antonio is one of those teams chasing them. So this is a real important game for Memphis to measure themselves up against the best. If they lose a game like this, essentially everything they've achieved in the early part of the season is pretty much for naught. So I think they're going to be really focused tonight to get the job done and play really well against the defending champs.
All right, but is that a reason enough to actually take them on the spread, man?
I think that's one of the reasons. The other reason is the Spurs. They're finishing up this road trip. It's the last game in a 4-game road trip. Teams are sometimes fatigued in that last spot. We saw that actually the last time the Spurs were on a 4-game road trip. They lost their last outing. I think we see the same thing here. Spurs did rest a couple players against Brooklyn, but I think coming back is not going to make the difference that some people think. I think Memphis is just really focused in this spot. They need this. They're going up against the defending champs. They're at home. I think they're going to throw their best punch at San Antonio and win and cover this game.
All right, good stuff, Dave. Hey, man, thanks once again for all the insights, and we'll talk some more basketball again next week.
All right.
All right, take care, man. And for SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.